What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I'm going to talk to you all about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, what shorts did as well, talk on the latest SEC document that just came out and what it truly means. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did go up 3.92%. It was able to get over a very key resistance level. And so I'm going to talk all about the technicals near the tail end, but 16.7 million shares were traded, 44.5 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So this does signal that big money wasn't necessarily getting into Lucid as I'm sure a lot of us would have anticipated. So rather, a lot of this volume that was done from today was just algorithmic trading. So you can see a lot of barcoding right here. So it was just AI driving it. And it was more so just piggybacking from the broader market. So nothing really wrong with that whatsoever. It was still able to get over a very key resistance level. So it is what it is. I'm sure a lot of big money is waiting on the sidelines for Lucid's upcoming earnings on the 21st to really commit into a long-term position. But that's just my own interpretation, of course. Today, there was no actual news. There was a SEC document submitted after hours today, so a 13G amendment. And so a lot of people are speculating and wondering what the hell this is all about. So that 13G/A is this right here. So this is as of December 31st, 2023, so Q4. And ultimately, it does signal right down here, it is a joint filing among these three right here. So Churchill, M. Klein, and Michael Klein. So as it stands right now, it does show that they have a 1.39% stake in Lucid, and that works out to be about 32 million shares. So again, a lot of people are just seeing this and wondering what the hell does this mean? So in order for us to really analyze that, you kind of have to look at their last filing. So their last filing was right here on December 31st, 2021, and it did signal that they were under this kind of rule. So rule 13D/1, and that does mean that they had a 5% or greater stake in Lucid, which they did have. So they had a 5.7% stake and 96 million shares. And this similarly was another joint filing among the three right here. And plus, even looking at Fintel, you can kind of see this was recently disclosed, similar kind of nature. So 96 to 32 million. So all in all, they sold. They sold in Q4. And so once again, I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. It clearly didn't really affect this positive momentum that did happen. Maybe they piggybacked off of the good rally that did happen in December, because obviously, like I said, this transaction did occur in Q4. But still, is this a big deal? Not really. It just shows an institution selling. And plus, even if you zoom out, and look at what happened over the last little bit, even in Q4, a lot of institutions sold. And vice versa, a lot of institutions bought. That's what happens, right? Time and time again, you still see a lot of institutions disclosing their 13Fs, and some bought, some sold. So it's kind of just the name of the game. I don't really see this as a crazy deal, just some people might. So just wanted to be transparent and break that down for you. Aside from that though, shorts did increase a small amount, 251,000 shares, 29.85% of the free float is being shorted. So once again, kind of pulling off of that all-time high of 31.7%, which was crazy. But cost per hour average is 39.71%. Looking through Interactive Broker short availability does also indicate that there is 0 shares available to be shorted. So things could get very, very interesting very fast. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Do you think that there is going to be a short squeeze as a result of their upcoming earnings? Because as I did signal in yesterday's video, the market is ready to propel higher. Even with some negative CPI data coming out, the market is still ready to go higher. And over and above that, based on estimates, Lucid could really come out with a good 25,000 target for 2024. And that might be a sufficient catalyst to kind of push it till probably mid part of the year. That's when they open up reservations for the Gravity, and then the tail end, that's when they're going to be kicking off production. So I feel like that might actually be a sufficient gap to fill in, I guess, the gap, if that makes sense, from now until summer ultimately. So I think that's kind of a good thing overall. Looking at some of the options though, $489,000 in calls being purchased versus 1.72 million in puts. Oddly enough, based on this though, you do see more of a bearish sentiment, because 64% of all the options being done today were bearish. Looking right here, you do see of the call options being purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above 350, and then vice versa. Looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be sub roughly about $3. So clearly some people do not anticipate for that strong support to really hold any longer. And going into, obviously with retail sales and then PPI on Thursday and Friday, if Lucid is able to close above $3, you're going to see a nice bump up in the stock price come Monday, as market makers do cover the roughly about 33,000 in open interest at that $3 strike price. If Lucid is able to stay above 350, then you're going to have an additional 20,000, and maybe even best case scenario, if Lucid is able to close above $4 by this upcoming Friday, then an additional 20,000. So once again, definitely could get very, very interesting. But over and above that though, just looking right here, with it closing at $3.45, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So like I said, it was able to successfully regain some of its strength and close above this 340 mark. So going into tomorrow, that's going to be a very strong support. Then vice versa, 407 is going to be that next target that you'll want to watch for Lucid to kind of attempt at least. And so retail sales coming out tomorrow, that could give Lucid some nice push momentum, and then PPI will finish off the week hopefully very strong. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Based on the momentum indicator, shows number of retail investors have been getting in. So retail has definitely been buying Lucid, not necessarily as much as institutions have been, but still regardless, I feel like retail does own the majority of the float, as I have brought up in the past. But moving on though, looking at stochastic, you do see it at 74. So potentially if it does continue its momentum upwards, it is going to get to overbought status. So this is where you might see some consolidation sooner rather than later. Potentially it might bounce off of that $4 range, but that's just a guess, of course. And as well, you do see a start of a deviation, so red line above the black showing a bearish sentiment. So overall, the options not necessarily looking the best. Shorts have been pulling back a little bit, plus with very little ammunition, this could get very interesting for that. And then the technicals, in my opinion, still do look very bullish, but at some stage it will get overbought and will need to consolidate. So that might happen around, again, the $4 range, or maybe even the $4.50. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing I wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Movement, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.